Hello. Hey, this is Bryce, and welcome back to my YouTube channel, Jack of Trades. So, I've been doing a lot of videos on the Losi Promoto-MX, and one of my comments in the early videos, the unboxing video, was how when I looked at that, it kind of reminded me of the RadioShack Ricky Carmichael RC motorcycle. And so I started looking for one that was in decent shape. So I found one, it showed up this week, and we're going to do an unboxing and test drive of this 20-year-old RC dirt bike. So a little bit about this bike. The bike came out in 2003. It retailed for $129.99. It's based on the Honda CR250R dirt bike. It is quarter scale, so it's the same scale as the Losi Promoto-MX. And actually, if you go through the instructions, it's rated for, or it's spec'd out as doing 20 miles an hour on a NiCad pack. Today we're going to run it on a 2S LiPo. So I've seen some YouTube videos where they're doing speedrun tests, and with LiPo they're getting about 22 miles an hour. So it's about half the speed of the Losi Promoto-MX, which is getting a little over 40 miles an hour. It's a fun bike. It's cool looking. I've already had it out of the box, so this won't be my first unboxing of it. I took it out of the box, cleaned it up, fixed a little couple of things here and there, and did a bench test to make sure that it still worked. So there's some things about this bike that would be kind of cool to have in the Losi bike. Obviously this is missing a lot of the technology the Losi bike has, so it's going to be a completely different machine. It's going to drive different. It's not built as robust as the Losi bike. You know, for its price, it's a pretty cool toy, and it comes in this nice big box with a nice display of the bike. This would have been a cool gift to have 20 years ago as a kid. I've done a little bit of work on the bike, and it's kind of in between like toy and hobby grade. It does use, you know, NiCad packs, stick packs. It's completely serviceable. You can actually, you can do non-RadioShack upgrades. Like the shocks are spring shocks, so you could replace the rear shock with like a Revo shock. You could replace the brush motor system with a brushless system if you wanted to. I'd be worried about the power transfer in the drivetrain if I went to brushless, but it might be fun just to do, to see if you can make it go faster. It's kind of like putting lipstick on a pig though, so it's like, do you really want to go down that rabbit hole or not on upgrades? It just becomes another money pit like most RCs. So the plan is to do an unboxing, get the bike out, get it ready to go run it, and then we'll take both this bike and the Losi Promoto-MX out and kind of run them side by side. And just to, I have no expectations with this, but it might be fun just to see the two bikes out together. They are the same scale, so that's kind of cool. So let's go ahead and flip the camera around and do that unboxing. Thanks for tuning in. So here is the Ricky Carmichael RC motocross bike. Let's go and get it out. Alright, so we got this little cardboard display. Got our 27 megahertz radio. Got the motorcycle and driver. We got a little stand. Instructions. Some tools. I don't know if these came with the kit, but I've been using them for the kit. So I'll assume that they did come with the kit. And there it is. So here it is compared to the Losi Promoto. Sorry for the overhead shot. I guess with this stuff we kind of want more of a side view. So the wheels are, the rear wheel looks comparable, the front wheel looks a little smaller than the Losi. Got very bouncy rear shock. The front shocks are okay. Again, these are just springs, not a whole lot of damping. So how does this guy work? Well, actually, so we can pull the handles off on, or the hands off on this guy. All right, so for the radio, we have this battery door on top here. And then we've got a 4-cell AA pack that you can put batteries in there. Actually, we'll go ahead and do that since we're getting ready to take this out for a run. And the previous owner had left batteries in that had exploded, so I've done my best to kind of clean out this battery pack. So what I like is the driver has joints. It's made out of the driver is made out of a hard plastic. It's not the soft kind of rubber or the soft rubber / plastic that we have on the Losi Promoto. It's more of a hard plastic, not brittle. You can kind of squeeze it and it deforms. And maybe at one point it was as soft as the Losi Promoto and it's gotten hard over time, but I don't feel like that's the case. But the driver has joints. So his feet are allowed to pivot on the bottom. He's got knee joints, he's got hip joints, he's got shoulder joints. So the driver can kind of move around on the bike. And I don't know if that's just to give access to the battery door or if he's actually kind of shuffling around while riding. There's enough wear on the seat back here that indicates that maybe the driver is actually shuffling around while riding. So then the main battery for this guy is in the bottom. There's a little battery tray here. So once you undo the screw, you can then slide the battery cover back and it pops out. And you've got enough room for a stick pack in here with a little cavity for the power connector. So I'm going to cut this connector off and put on a Dean's plug because I don't have any Tamiya plugs on my batteries. So I've got this 4,000 milliamp hour LiPo stick pack that I'm going to run on this guy. So it has these lean bars which help it, if it tips over you can throttle it and it'll, once you get enough inertia going, you can get it back up. The way that this bike does have a gyroscope or a flywheel. So the way that works is the flywheel, I believe it has a one-way bearing, so when you when you drive the wheel, it spins that flywheel, and then when you stop it, the flywheel keeps spinning. So it maintains that momentum, and that flywheel helps stabilize the bike. Let's cut the connector off of this and I can kind of show you how that's going to work. The steering is really interesting because it's completely decoupled from the servo, and then the servo just moves the spring around, and then the steering is on this parallelogram or 4-bar link motion. So it actually does this kind of rocking motion versus a turning motion. Oh, so then the flywheel. So if we throttle and let go, you can hear and feel that flywheel spinning. I think we're good to go. I'm excited to take it out and try it out in the dirt. Because these are discontinued, I'm going to avoid running it on the asphalt. I will do a speed run, but then I'll kind of limit its use to the dirt. Alright, so we're going to do a speed run with the RadioShack Ricky Carmichael RC motorcycle. It's just 0 on our GPS. Okay. We got 21 miles an hour. Not bad, not bad. Alright, so we just got back from running the 2 bikes. Had a blast. Nothing broken. This performs as expected. We put a GoPro camera on his chest again to get that FPV video. We ran the Ricky Carmichael RC. Again, we put an FPV on his chest as well. He does okay in the grass, but in the dirt, the kind of that tan bark area where I like to run, it does not do well. So there's a couple of issues with this bike in that type of terrain. One is the suspension is too bouncy, there's no damping. Two is it's not as stable as the Losi bike, so it tends to fall over a lot easier. You really have to watch your throttle control when you're trying to steer. When you're steering the bike, it's more of a suggestion telling the bike in which direction you'd like to go, and eventually it might get there. It's what I expected, but it's not there. It kind of brings to light, you know, the 20-year technological gap between the 2 bikes and just how much of an improvement the Losi bike is over the RadioShack Ricky Carmichael. Not that it was meant to be an improvement over that. This is kind of its own standalone platform, but there's a huge difference between the 2 bikes, which is to be expected. Other than that, I think it's a fun bike to run. I tried to see if I could get my 7-year-old to run it, and he wasn't having a whole lot of luck, so I took over for him. But we were trying to kind of chase the two, you know, having this bike chase this bike with my 7-year-old running the Losi. And of course this is twice as fast. So I'd take the lead and then he'd kind of overshoot me by quite a bit on the turns. In the grass where I have good traction, the bike does pretty well. I feel like I have good control of it. Alright, I'll leave it at that. Thank you for watching to the end, and I'll see you on the next. Take care. Bye.